Guys. I am starting this new unit of mass media, and the first video, like I have a video inside a video, so it's video inception, um, where I just want you to watch this video real fast. It's just a minute long, but it's kind of funny. Um, but just um, in your assignment, tell me what you think about it as well. So. Just totally fine. And that was a what's a tablet slash computer mobile device commercial for, I think it was Germany. But yeah, it's just interesting. Like um, the generations born now, y'all's generation, and then even the ones that are going to come in after y'all are born in the internet, and so we're looking at mass media today. So I think this is going to be a whole bunch of moving me around. So there's different types of mass media that we look at. Some are more um, inclusive than others. Some are slower than others. But for instance, like print media, you got newspapers like the New York Times, the Dallas Morning News, the um, Fort Worth um, Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle, like you just name it, the Boston Globe, all that. Magazines, Time, Life, the New Yorker, and then books. So like your Harry Potter books or the Bible, stuff like that. That's printed media. And then you have audio media. So this is just sound recordings, the radio, podcasts, audio books. All of that is audio media. So if you ever hear that, that's audio media. Visual media. So this is what most people look at. And I did add in the video cassettes because it's like, oh, do y'all know what those are? But visual media, so movies, televisions, like VHSs, DVDs, YouTube videos, visual media, anything you can see and kind of look at. And then online media can be an online audio media where you're listening to a podcast or something like that, or a online visual media where you see what's going on. So online can be any of these. So like online print, like you see newspapers aren't being sold in mass anymore, but you can get the New York Times online. You can see online media all over the place. And then media coverage. So this is mass media, so print media, all this. So media coverage is just kind of what I said. It covers everything. So it has a hand in everything. And then so some perspectives of online media. The functionalist perspective is it focuses on the ways in which mass media helps to preserve social stability. So this is like, hey, I like during this like pandemic, I can still call my grandparents, even though I can't go over and see them. And so that preserves social stability. I can call people that I miss, that I want to talk to. I can text people. I can interact with y'all through Zooms, all that. That's the functional. It's like it's a good thing. The conflict is how social media or mass media serves to maintain the existing social order. So how does us using phones help what's already existing? And how does it maybe hurt itself or intermingle? And so there's the knowledge gap. So this is the idea that the new information enters wealthy and better educated households at a faster rate than the poor and less educated household, thus widening the knowledge gap. So, for instance, if you do not have a cell phone or something like that, if there's someone over there, you can like I can say, well, where's the closest Chick-fil-A? Or where's the closest Sonic or whatever? And they might have to look at something, go to a computer where I can use my phone and just search up on Google, like, oh, here's this. Like, where's the closest, like Chick-fil-A? Or where's the closest this or that? And it just kind of widens the gap. Or if I told y'all to find me the first, like, when did King George I become king of England? And y'all didn't have your phones and I did. And I was like, okay, it's going to be a race. I would win because I have the knowledge gap. My technology, my mass media helps me because I have this media. And if you're able to possess the media or the information processing things better, it's good because it's just one of those things. And then the digital divide. So this is access to new technology and without that helps with that knowledge gap hypothesis. So again, if you're able to watch this, you are better off than other people. If you can't see this, obviously you're not seeing this until much later. So it's one of those crazy things. And this, I want to just highlight this, like right here. I feel like that sometimes with y'all, just like, okay, I have to fight y'all on this. Where it's just like, am I getting to you? Because I am dividing your attention. And then there's the power of media. So you see the little rat and just like pop. Think of WALL-E. And I think that is an important sociological movie with media because if you haven't seen WALL-E, it's just kind of we're stuck in chairs, we're watching TV, we have a screen in front of us, and like we're having automation kind of grow, like automation of jobs and stuff do stuff. So we're gonna just sit around all day and get fat and disgusting, and soon robots will be kind of controlling us and just helping us like survive. So there's the spiral of science or of silence. So the media can shape public opinion and they can bombard the public with the same information and opinion. As more people accept these opinions, people who disagree are less likely to voice their views. So this is just like, okay, all this media stuff going out on this pandemic stuff, some people are having to look at it as fact and not opinion. And so, because there's so many people kind of voicing the same opinion, some people are like, okay, well, I'm not going to voice my view because everyone else has already done it and I can't change the minds. And then agenda setting. So, how are we going to view stuff? And so, this is just a huge thing in media. So, if you try to watch the White House press briefings during this pandemic or during anything, look at different channels, like look at Fox News and then look at CNN, and if they're broadcasting the same thing, you'll see that they might have different kind of title cards of what's happening and just they're putting their opinion, and it's just kind of this crazy thing where it's like, oh my gosh, like the president's saying the same thing on both channels, but both channels have different opinions and want to portray a different image of the president. So that's just kind of what you can see with the agenda setting. Like, how are we going to cover this? Which issues are we going to cover? Which issues aren't we going to cover? So that's kind of something that has been going on for a long time. Like, this first kind of started with Vietnam, where we had this debate over, it's like, are we going to show soldiers dying on the front lines? Are we going to do this? And the kind of overwhelming answer is like, no one wants to see people die as they're going down to eat dinner. And so today you don't see people dying on TV in the news. So that's kind of a agenda setting. Like, we're going to have this and we're going to decide this issue. And then there's issues of, are we going to show full unedited context of people, or are we going to edit and kind of splice together things? And then there's contemporary mass media issues. So what is the influence on children? So we don't know what it's going to do. So I know parenting, a big issue in parenting is, when should I let my kids have access to technology? Like, when's a good time to place them in front of the TV and put on Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood or Little Einsteins, cue the music, just like all that. Just where is this? Like, where are we going with technology? How young can we sit them? Like, what's the psychological things? There's a good movie called The Cable Guy with Jim Carrey in it, and Jim Carrey's kind of this crazy person because he kind of he grew up because his parents didn't love him enough and just placed him in front of the TV, and so he's just this like crazy person, and he has to like deal with like all this stuff, but he ends up trying to be like best friends with like Matthew Broderick, who y'all probably don't know, but in Ferris Bueller's Day Off, the main character of that. What is the effect on social life of this mass media? What are we like? Is it a net positive, net neutral? We kind of talked about this in class. Like, how does mass media help? So is it good, bad, indifferent? And then what power does it have in shaping public opinion? So how does it, like, are we just blind, like, are we just sheep following whatever we see, or is it something that we can produce more? And the thing that I'm saying is, there are more and more with like the power of the internet kind of going around traditional news outlets like CNN, Fox News, and saying, hey, this is actually the truth, and not this bias. Like, here are the facts, and not, oh, this is this and that is that, because this is where our opinions are. This is our agenda. And then how can we avoid being dominated by mass media? So this is where it's like, how can we not be enveloped with mass media? How can we avoid being just sucked in and just being kind of like a brain dead person and not being a free thinking person? So obviously we got to look out for technology, or it'll trip us up as a society. And so social media is very prevalent in all of our lives. So how do we do all of this? Like, how do we so norms and like realities of science. So the thing is, universalism. Scientific research should be judged solely on the basis of quality. Race, gender, class, and everything should have no impact. So, for instance, for science and social media, we should have no regard to race, gender. It should be kind of blind, like justice or something like that, or organizing skepticism. So there's no scientific findings except for exempt from questioning. So we should always question everything on social media. This is kind of the science of social media and communalism. All scientific knowledge should be made available to everyone. So we should not block information. We should not inhibit anything, because you should have access to everything and not just be like steered into what people want you to see. And then disinterestedness. So we scientists, when we look at social media, we shouldn't we should think the truth and not for personal gain or notoriety or something along those lines. We need to look at things that are good. Like, we should be trying to help, not trying to get something for ourselves, which is hard to do because we all want something as personal gain. That's just kind of human instinct. And then the reality, there's fraud that goes on social media. Like, if your parents are very big Facebook people, there's the whole like, oh, this is going to happen, and here's the like quote unquote fake news. Again, this is super 2016, like fake news, people falsifying data, all that just to try to trick you into doing stuff. Competition. So this comes not with just science, but with news as well. Like, for instance, the sad thing is Kobe Bryant, when him and the others in the helicopter died, TMZ posted that before the parents and the loved ones of the people who died found out about it. And that is kind of horrifying, that it's like that's like that happened. So people are trying to publish incomplete data or stuff. Like, for instance, like it's April 28th, 2020, and we still don't really know what's going on with Kim Jong-un over in North Korea. Is he dead? Is he alive? We don't know because it's secretive, but people are trying to push out this narrative before everything. So it's a competition. And then the Matthew effect. Being famous helps. So this can hurt young scientists or just young people in general, as they may not have recognition as someone more well known. For instance, if I started looking at astrophysicists and compare that to Neil deGrasse Tyson down here, and I publish something that he has said, it's like, oh, that's not true, but I'm saying, hey, it's true. Who's going to be believed more, me or Neil deGrasse Tyson? And it's like, Neil deGrasse Tyson's going to be believed more because he's famous. He has more stuff published. People have accepted him as a person of knowledge on astrophysics, physicists, whatever. And so then there's conflicting views of reality. So again, if you look, because of social media and all this, we see that social media companies try to push narratives and give you algorithms that give you what you want. That's why if you've ever said something like, I just bought a puppy. And so now my social media is filled all with puppy stuff because I've posted a picture of puppy. I've talked about it. The app listens to me, which is again scary and stuff. So I'm going to just scroll through Facebook real fast in real time. So let's just scroll, wait, scroll, 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 scroll. I'm looking for an ad. The first ad that I see is Wilder Dog, which is rugged, trail-tested dog gear, free shipping with code FREESHIP at checkout. And so it's a leash. That's the first ad I got, and it didn't take me that long. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 posts before I got to Wilder Dog. And so see, my reality is now being shaped because ads are being thrown at me that are listening to me, all of that. So that could change my perception of general public and impact on science if people in social media start pushing that. And so, oh, whoops. So that's kind of it for this. This was a small video, so make sure you do that, and then I will go to the class work real fast and kind of go through that with you. So if you look, this is your assignment, and so I want you to watch I want you, like, this is your homework, is watching mass media. So watch at least 2 hours of television or at least 2 full shows over the next few days. Try to watch a different channel and avoid DVR and shows without commercials as much as possible. Identify the following: time of day, channel, show, types of commercial, the genre, so is it a comedy, and the target audience. So for example, Saturday night, watch Game of Thrones on HBO. It's a fantasy drama and targets adult audiences. There are no commercials. Then complete the questions on page 2. So don't use like HBO because there are no commercials. I want you to watch commercials. I know that's kind of weird, but it's just like, okay, so what's the show? For instance, watching like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So time of day, I watched it late at night. Channel, Hulu channel. It's like it's on Hulu. It's a streaming service, but it still has commercials. Genre, comedy. Target audience, I'd say the target audience is like for that. Look at the rating, and that's usually the target audience. And then types of commercial ads. So it's like there might be something for this. Write that down, and then do that a couple times, and then for the shows you watched age appropriate, I won't tell your parents, but just, yeah. Would you feel comfortable watching these shows with your future 10-year-old son or daughter? Yes or no, explain why. And if you need more space, again, just do it on a Google Doc. I understand. Or do it in whatever you need to do. And so just answer these questions. And this is a pretty easy thing. Next week, we're going to get into a video. We're going to go over sports and how sports affects us sociologically, because that's kind of a weird thing. And also, I'm going crazy because I haven't watched sports at all. So I'm like, we're going to do sports. So if you have any questions, let me know, okay? Like and subscribe. Okay. Hey, I miss y'all. Have a good one.